Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is set to be a film based within the sequel trilogy that will have many different twists and turns, as well as surprises and saga-wide implications in this film that will change how we view some of the characters in the past Star Wars movies. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. So what's really interesting about Episode 9 is that we do know that J.J. Abrams really is going to deliver when it comes to the characters of Luke Skywalker, Rey, Kylo Ren, and so on and so forth. And what I really do love about this movie so far is that we do know that it's going to be a very nostalgic one, right? We do know it's going to have a lot of these different connections to the prequels and the originals, and we'll even have a lot of answers of the unknown timeline in between the events of the originals and the sequel trilogy. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting and intriguing for Episode 9. Now, specifically, a description of both Rey and Luke Skywalker sitting in front of each other with a large Jedi temple structure in the background, where it said that Luke Skywalker is telling a story to Rey about the dark side and how powerful it can be. It said that Luke begins to reveal to Rey that during his travels and adventures throughout the decades, he slowly felt a dark presence growing that was so strong that lured him to the dark side. It said that Luke described the power to be very familiar, yet could not pinpoint who it really was. It said to be a moment which Luke's lesson to Rey is that the dark side is so powerful that it even caused himself to have temptations toward the dark side, where Luke eventually reveals to Rey that his father Anakin Skywalker would guide him away from the dark presence and energy that was causing conflict within Luke Skywalker during a certain time in his life, in between the originals and the sequels, that if it weren't for his father Anakin, he wouldn't know where he would be today. It's described that this sequence ties directly into when Rey brings up how she sensed a dark power from afar. So I want to go over a couple of parts about all of this. Now, what's really great and interesting about this is that not only is this a direct callback to Star Wars Dark Empire, but this is also a great way in order to tell the life of Luke Skywalker through Luke himself of a time in which, Luke Skywalker was feeling this temptation toward the dark side of the Force, yet Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost was able to pull Luke Skywalker away from those temptations, and that this dark presence was described to be very familiar. Now, I'm honestly going to go ahead and say this, that this dark presence that Luke Skywalker explains to Rey that was very familiar is going to be the spirit of Sidious, since that will actually have a role in Episode 9 within the third act of the movie. You can really see how JJ is slowly trying to build it up from start to finish of this movie. Now, about Dark Empire, the reason as to why I believe that this is a direct callback and or a nod to that timeline is because in Legends, Luke Skywalker was actually tempted towards the dark side of the Force. He had a lot of temptations towards the dark side because he wanted to learn exactly how his father, Darth Vader / Anakin, turned to the dark side. He wanted to know exactly what really makes one turn to the dark side, and that's exactly how Luke Skywalker got lost in it all. So this dialogue of Luke and what he's explaining to Rey is a direct nod to that era of the expanded universe. Now, what's really intriguing though is that at a certain point in time in between the originals and the sequels, the Force Ghost of Anakin Skywalker was able to lure Luke Skywalker away from that dark presence, away from those temptations of that dark side energy that Luke Skywalker felt was very familiar. Now, like I say, we do know that Palpatine is going to have a significant role in this movie. We also know that this sequence in particular ties directly into when Rey brings up how she feels this dark side energy from afar across the galaxy. So, what's really intriguing to me about all of this is that this is a moment in which the Force Ghost version of Luke Skywalker is delivering a lesson to Rey about how powerful the dark side can really be, and to not get lost in your own ego, that even the mighty Luke Skywalker himself was able to get lost into the dark side of the Force and actually give in to the temptations, where Luke even reveals to Rey that if it weren't even for his own father guiding him away from that, he wouldn't even know where he would be today. Now guys, that is a comic and or a book / novel, or maybe even a TV series that I would really love to see, on, let's say, Disney Plus, or in a book or a comic book, where we do get to see exactly what Luke is explaining here to Rey in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. So you can really see how there's a lot of father and son elements in Episode 9. You know, we can see how they're bringing back Han Solo into the mix in the forms of, you know, a vision in Ben Solo's mind, and now you have these stories by Luke Skywalker about his own father, Anakin Skywalker, you know, guiding him back to the light and saving Luke away from the darkness. And I really do love this, you know, because as of right now, you know, in the sequels, Luke Skywalker has yet to even mention his own father. Now, yes, he mentioned his father in the comics for The Last Jedi, and that was it. You know, yes, it is canon, but as far as the films go, you know, that's what really matters at the end of the day, because that's what a majority of the fans are actually tuning into. So this is really great how Luke Skywalker is going to make a lot of references to his father. He's going to do a couple of name drops here of Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader and everything around those lines. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.